I'm building a portfolio of content all around the fact that my business collapsed. That narrative is telling me everyone's rejecting you, everyone's telling you you're a failure, everyone's telling you they don't like it. There's that little voice, and that little voice has a lot to say to you that's negative. That little voice will stop you doing a lot of things that you really want to do. Hello, I'm Hayden.Bloomfield and welcome to the channel. I thought I've had in my mind a realization around when you are starting that something new. I guess an epiphany I've had about it that I feel that we're not talking about and people don't mention, and that's because we have some sort of instinctive fear within us, this fear of rejection, this fear that we don't provide value. And I'm going to put it in the context of YouTube, and specifically when you start out on YouTube with no other platform to build from, so you're literally starting from scratch, starting from zero, mainly because it fits into me, but I'll apply it to other scenarios. So if you are this applies to us when we start that thing that involves getting an input and interaction, having like a client base or an audience. So whether that's having a business where you'll have customers, starting a YouTube channel, a podcast, just building in your Instagram a bit more, or your Facebook page, if people still have that. I still have one actually, so feel free to go and like it. But all these different platforms, Twitter, whatever it is, and it's all around where I've started. If you're in the boat of me, hopefully you're watching this, it's the case if you started that something new, and you're thinking about it and you really want to, but there's this oversensing fear of just failure, rejection of like, oh, I would, but I'll be made fun of, my friends won't like it, my family will tell me I'm ridiculous, all these people around me are going to tell me it's stupid, no one's going to like it, no one's going to want to see it, and it's going to be a waste of my time. There's that little voice, and that little voice has a lot to say to you that's negative. That little voice will stop you doing a lot of things that you really want to do and fulfill because you're motivated intrinsically to do them. So I want to dive into with this video how I've really overcome that little voice and really actually thinking about some of those rejections that we set within our minds ourselves. In the context of this conversation for myself is YouTubing, the essence of making these videos, uploading them to YouTube and seeing no views, seeing one view. The YouTubers you watch, the videos you consume, and you look at them and you think, wow, 100,000 views, 10,000 views, 1 million views, 100 million views, 1 billion views on a video, that's ridiculous, like how? And then you upload, or you think about uploading, you're like, oh yeah, but what if I get no views? What if no one likes it? And this is the experience I get, obviously. If you are new to this channel, hello, welcome, please like the video. And if, of course, you like the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're already subscribing, you know that these videos are literally getting 4, 5, 10 views. My record at the moment is one video that's done over 600 views. And that's completely extraordinary in terms of when you look at the rest of my content. If you're watching this in 10 years time and somehow I've actually managed to achieve the goal of building a successful YouTube channel, then back in 2022 in March, I'm releasing these videos every day with like no views whatsoever, really. Just like one of my best mates that watches almost every video, and then a couple of other mates, and pretty much no real audience, no traction building either. But I'm in this for the long term. Now, obviously with that, I'm also then sharing stuff onto my Instagram, onto a Facebook page, onto my Facebook and LinkedIn, that kind of thing. And again, it's the similar thing of when I was sort of promoting my business a lot more, I always do this because my van's out on the drive, so I'm always like looking down at my van as the last remnants of my business. When I was promoting my business, I was obviously doing the same sort of thing. I was pushing stuff on all the social platforms, and it was after a long time I was starting to gain traction. I would get a few likes, a few comments, whatnot. A lot of stuff would just not reach any audience at all and get no attraction and no engagement. However, I did have, and it was starting to build its consistency, and it was more reliable that I would upload something, they would get some form of interaction. I'm not saying it was like incredible. It was literally something where you'd get 2, 3, 4, 5 comments, which is better than nothing. But then obviously I became dormant on pretty much all socials, and only recently have I really kicked it off with, in the last 6 months, with YouTubing. Also on my Instagram, I push a lot of skateboarding out there, so feel free to check out my Instagram for that. One main thing is that with Instagram, on my skateboard, or if I upload a video on skateboarding, it will get 100 likes, it will get 10 comments, it will get decent engagement. However, if I upload something in regards to my content, 3 likes, generally the same 3 people, no comments, maybe 1. Generally the same person as well, and not really much engagement at all. But obviously I've got to think, my Instagram, the setting behind that is it's all built around skateboarding and around that's what my character is. And now this is something new I'm introducing where my audience likes and engages with skateboarding content. So why would they interact with different content? Because it's not in the niche of what I've been uploading, if that makes sense. So if you do have something like in the context I went from business to this, if you're changing your niches, don't expect to get the same interaction with it from your audience, as they'll have to change and develop. So this is where I've sort of got this Duolingo content push on Instagram with the skateboarding and the content I'm creating through my YouTube channel. But I suppose I did have this thing of like, when I thought about, I'll start pushing my YouTube stuff on my Instagram, and like, bear in mind, I'm talking about a few hundred followers here. I'm not talking about some like successful page. But I was talking to a couple of mates about it, and a lot of them were against the idea, saying, no, keep it separate. Like, dude, people like to see the skating content. No one's going to give a shit about YouTube content, and it's just going to be a waste, and it's probably going to go worse for you than it is to go well for you. So obviously there's a nerve there of rejection. There's rejection before you've even incepted this like content. And I was pushing stuff out on LinkedIn, getting absolutely nothing, and still like I'm getting nothing. But the point I want to get across is just how your mind psychologically deals with that. And the way I've come to deal with it has been quite effective, I would say. And the realization that, as I said, there is this instinct of fear, this instinct that we don't like rejection, we don't like the idea that it's not going to be liked, we don't like the idea of no engagement. And how many times have you uploaded something and seen there's no engagement, so you've taken it down and deleted it because you wanted to get some engagement? It just looks like, in our minds, to have nothing, to have no comments, no likes, almost feels like everyone has hit a dislike button that doesn't exist. It's almost as if everyone's put some sort of snarky comment that's a bit sarcastic. It feels that way. It feels like everyone has just said no, rejected, because no one's engaged with it, because no one's pressed the like button, and everyone's just kept scrolling. But there's something that I realised in this, and I started to think about the content that I don't like myself and the content that I don't comment on myself. That applies to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And it can be the same in your business. So when I think back to like starting my garden business, I didn't really have this mindset issue back then, because it was something that I started part-time and gradually build it up, whereas I feel like if I went full-time there'd be a lot more pressure, and as well, where it's more reliant on money and an income, there's different pressures there. So I feel like this wouldn't be so much on your mind, but if it is, it will still be helpful for you, especially if you are starting to push your business out on social media and content. But the key thing is that when I think about me looking at that, is that I'm just scrolling past because I'm not paying any attention, and that is the same sort of thing. So in the context of my YouTube channel, no one's viewing it. And so the fact that it gets next to no views, no likes really, not any comments at all, I can probably count on my hands the amount of comments I've had on all my videos. There's no interaction there, no engagement, no sort of fan base as such. But that's fine. And the facts, the way I've overcome this rejection is, in my mind, is just correcting that narrative. That narrative is telling me everyone's rejecting you, everyone's telling you you're a failure, everyone's telling you they don't like it. No, in fact, no one's bloody looking. No one sees it. And I have questions with people where they'll bring up certain things and I'm like, I made a video on this. And then it will come up in conversation, or they'll ask me something. And I'm like, it just reinforces the fact that I'm like, people aren't watching it. So I haven't got to worry about this idea of rejection and failure and that people don't like it. No one notices, views. There will be anomalies to this, but generally when I think I watch a video, I will notice like, oh wow, it's got loads of views. Oh, if it's got next to no views, I don't really notice. Although I've started to notice now that I'm YouTubing and creating content, creating these videos, I'm starting to notice and pay attention to these things on videos. But before that, didn't cross my mind at all. Like, if a video had 2,000 views, 1,000 views, 10 views, what does it matter? I wasn't there for that. I was there for the content. And even if I did pay attention, I just scrolled past, wasn't paying attention. So you've just got to correct your narrative in your mind that's saying, oh, this is rejection, this is failure. No, it's just the fact that no one's seen it, and you will have to do this. And like, if you study human psychology at all, or study like in business, when you're trying to draw in new customers, oftentimes you have to get in front of them at least 7 times. You hand them that leaflet, they put it in the bin. You hand them another leaflet, they look at it, they put it in the bin. Suddenly they see you pop up on Instagram, they scroll past. Suddenly they see you pop up on Facebook and they go, I've seen that before. They scroll past. Suddenly they get another leaflet and they hold it and they're like, why do I keep seeing this? And you repeat this process. Suddenly they're on Google, you pop up. Suddenly they're on YouTube, there's a video about you. And then all of a sudden they've seen you 7, 10, 50 times and they're like, do you know what? I need that service actually. I need that gardener. I'll click on that video. I'll buy that product that this person is promoting. And that's the same way in the context of YouTubing. So like for me, the fact that it's getting no views, no real interaction, I do get the other thing from my friends, which is really helpful. And as well, the key thing to remember here, embrace the opportunity to make corrections and see the opportunities to make corrections on mistakes you're making, because you will make plenty of them. And I do this. I'm making videos, there's mistakes, I'm still working out. I've only now really just worked out setting up the audio properly. There's still a lot of things to fix with the camera, especially a lot of things I can do for better efficiencies. There's things that I'm messing up with the podcast, just where I had it today, literally before I clicked record on the camera, I'm on the phone to my mate who's like, yeah, I was just listening to your podcast and I keep getting 7 minutes in and then suddenly I'm like listening to the same thing again, what's going on? And then I check and it's like not uploaded properly because it didn't export properly. Because I've got no audience, it doesn't matter. If I had like 100,000 people tuning into that episode, I'd have like tens of thousands of people like, what the hell's going on? This show's shit. Like, why is it not uploaded properly? And like messaging it. And so it'd be quite a devastation. Whereas because I've got no audience, I can correct it quite easily and it's there, it's done, it's sorted. So take advantage of that. The fact that you're new to it, the start that you're getting going, make those mistakes, embrace them, to seize the opportunity to correct yourself and learn as much as possible. You learn by doing, do. Get it done. Take the lessons away. And if you've got like your closest friends that are able to just help you out and they're just going to like back you, support you regardless of what you're doing, jump on the opportunity to see what they say and let them help you get that guidance to help improve. And whether that's your Instagram post, whether they liked it or not, whether that's something you've put on Facebook, a tweet you've put out, or a YouTube video in the context of myself. But I hope this has been helpful, and just I really want to drill in the point of don't be put off by the fact that you've not got any interaction. Don't be put off by no views. Don't be put off by no likes, no comments, no shares, no saves. Ignore that. Don't be put off by no click-throughs. You've got to build that consistency. And it's the same I've found when I go onto like YouTube and see a new channel, and it's like, do I want to subscribe or not? The key thing about that would be like, well, I'll go through their videos, see what I like and don't like, or see if it's got a lot of consistency. I'm looking to see, have they stood the test of time? Have they uploaded loads of videos? When was their last uploads? Oh, 2 years ago. Well, I'm not going to subscribe then. Oh, a month ago. Yeah, but then the one before that was 6 months ago, and the one before that was 9. Well, they're not really uploading content, are they? Whereas if it's like, oh, today, yesterday, last week, last month, I'm like, okay, they're really on the content. I can see they've got hundreds of videos. They've been doing it for time. There's not many subscribers, but you know what? They're clearly building their channel, so I'll give them a subscribe. I enjoyed the video, got value from it. I'll get value from more videos, from the future videos, and I look forward to them. So keep this in your mind. You've got to just eradicate that little voice that's telling you you're being rejected. You're not being rejected. They're just not accepting you yet because they don't know you're there. You've got to scream and shout before anyone notices you. You are literally walking through Times Square on New Year's Eve on the internet. Try and pick out an individual there. Like if you were quizzed on a random individual in Times Square on New Year's Eve, you would not be able to find them or pinpoint where they were standing at all. Whereas if that person was wearing luminous yellow, stood 50 feet tall, was screaming and shouting the entire time, you might notice them. And the point I'm going with that metaphor is, if everyone standing at Times Square represents a new YouTuber starting up that week, how many of them are going to upload one video and just not carry on after that? How many are going to upload 10 and just give up after that? How many are going to upload 100 and just give up after that? Whereas that person that's able to push through, upload hundreds of videos, really work on increasing the value of their content, increasing the quality, making sure that the mic's out right, going through the trials and tribulations of recording terrible audio to make those improvements, just like I've been doing. I say this as someone that hasn't built a channel, but it's something that I've really helped with around my mindset. Someone that's like got the new equipment, managed to like invest in what they're doing and just let the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And that's the thing I'm trying to drill in, is just try and focus on getting this out of your mind. And just, if you're enjoying it, because this is a huge thing for me that's worked really well. It's just because YouTube, I'm not doing it to build an audience. It's just hopefully it will be something that will come of it, and it was something I can then build relationships, interactions, and a community within this, and help expand my driver for why I'm doing this. This initially, as I've said in videos before, not that you may not know that because you probably haven't watched the previous video, but make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the old videos and the new ones. But I'm building a portfolio of content all around the fact that my business collapsed. And I felt that I was 10 steps backwards and had nothing to show for it. Whereas having a YouTube channel, I can build and build and build. It's all based around me. And unless the internet disappears, I'm always going to have that portfolio. I'm always going to have that content. I'm always going to have that stuff to bounce back on. And plus, it's just a way to like get everything out of my mind, reflect on it, journal through video, share it with the world, and leverage this content in a way to build more great connections, to get to know more people, to have wonderful conversations. And that's all I've been doing. That's all I've been having. That's what I've been achieving. So it's absolutely brilliant. But I hope this has been helpful. I really do. I hope you've got some value from it, and I hope it's just given you a bit of refreshment in knowing that we do create these narratives in our minds and we can ignore them, we can overcome them. And that's exactly what I've done with this. And I just almost laugh it off and be like, I knew I was going to get no likes on that anyway, but I'm sure by the 1000th time, and start increasing those numbers. Like, this is another point that I feel like this video is going to be terribly laid out, but here's another point. Clearly I didn't bullet point it very well. I didn't. But increase the number in your head, whatever it is. I think when it comes to content, times that number by 100. If you think you've got to do like 10 posts to get some traction, no, do 1,000 posts. If you've got to do 10 videos on YouTube, no, you've got to do 1,000 videos on YouTube. Like, keep multiplying that number and ever increasing that number, because you've got to do a lot. A lot of the time people won't notice that first post, but it's that long-term consistency that people are drawn in by, and that's what keeps the crowd, keeps that audience, retains them, and helps expand and grow. I say this as someone that hasn't grown the audience yet. So fixate the point that I'm on about ignoring that voice, and that's what I've overcome and I'm now pushing forward with, and regardless of the fact that I get next to no views. Anyway, I hope it's been helpful. If it has, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.